Jurassic Unsolved. It's 2018. The Mount Cebu is currently erupting. Entire wildlife on Isla Nublar is trying to escape, as well as people. Some dinosaurs were saved, some sadly weren't. Nublar is now keeping the souls of dead, both dinosaurs and humans. Many species weren't saved. Some of them were hiding on the island's most secret places, there where they're supposed to be, hidden from the civilians and all others. One species has been hidden for years, wasn't shown in shows, in the movies, not even mentioned. Well, not alive. Today, we're talking about Nublar's most secret species, therizinosaurus. Jurassic World was not just a theme park, full of fun to watch attractions. It was a test field where scientists like Dr. Henry Wu were testing their luck and knowledge. From the normal dinosaurs that weren't bred in secrets to the deadly hybrids. Actually, 60% of the dinosaur species on Nublar weren't shown to public. We'll learn about these species after the tragic fall of Park. We'll learn about them in the future movies and shows. Only series that was introducing us to these species was Cretaceous, and we'll learn so much about them and their purpose. But were there more species on the island that we haven't heard about? Yes. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we see a corpse of a dead theropod dinosaur. The animal appears to have a grey pattern all over its body. This is none other than therizinosaurus, lost Nublar species that nobody talks about. This individual here has its neck twisted in combat, so we are sure it didn't die during the eruption. But what is it so interesting about this specimen? Why am I making a video about this specific dinosaur? Well, answer is pretty easy. This species doesn't appear in any other Jurassic projects ever. Cretaceous has shown us tons of Nublar species across 3 seasons. All of them were pretty surprising. Therizinosaurus, this interesting carnivore, hasn't appeared in any of them. These kids were wandering around the island for nearly a year and never stumble upon this specific dinosaur. Well, maybe the writers just didn't want this dinosaur in the franchise anymore, right? We only see its corpse, it doesn't mean anything. No. As you can see, this is a corpse of Euplocephalus, a dinosaur like Ankylosaurus that was present on Isla Nublar and wasn't in Cretaceous. So they match. Maybe they didn't want to include them in their projects. Well, not quite. This is DPG's dinosaur list. This list is supposed to show every single dinosaur species that was present on Nublar. I mean, obviously it doesn't show all of them. This list only shows dinosaurs that were present to public, while Park was working, and a couple of non-shown species. Only ones that weren't shown are dinosaurs that were top secret. But if you take a closer look at this list, we can quite clearly see that there is an Euplocephalus listed, which means this dino was not a big deal and was able to be shown on here. But where is therizinosaurus on this list? Nowhere. Writers could have put this species on this list, but they didn't, on purpose. But why? This is not a big hybrid super secret dino. Well, nobody actually knows, so I'm here to tell you all the theories that I have. Okay, as far as we know, this is one of the most secret species in the franchise. Well, obviously on this list we see spinosaurus too, which we did see a Nublar at any point. But I think that is just because Spino was planned to be in the film, but now that it's canon, I think the best explanation we have is that Spino was brought there as a baby, but didn't survive its childhood. Enough about Spino, let's get back to Therizinosaurus. Theory number 1 is that this is just a normal dinosaur that wasn't on the list because, well, they forgot to put it there, or it wasn't on the list, or they maybe even forgot that it exists, not sure. Theory number 2 is that they thought this specific species of dinosaurs was extinct on the island, so that is why they haven't put it on the list. But then, there is theory number 3. What if this dinosaur was a test? A test, like Spinosaurus was. A test, a new Project Regenesis that was present on Isla Nublar. What if there was the same thing as Project Regenesis was, just new, better, improved? First one was obviously a failure, even if we don't know what that test was all about. We know that it was either to make dinosaurs look as accurate as possible, or to genetically improve the specimen, which we think that Spinosaurus actually was, to play with the genetic components and change their values. So maybe there was Project Regenesis version 2 present on Nublar, and Therizinosaurus was a part of it, as other species like Monolophosaurus, Ouranosaurus, and some other hidden species that we never know of. As we know, Monolophosaurus and Ouranosaurus weren't on the list, but they were present on Nublar very much. We see them in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 3. If we take a look at this picture of Therizinosaurus here, he doesn't quite look like any other dinosaur that we quite saw in Jurassic franchise. Just the feel is not the same. Feel is like it's kind of more paleontologically accurate than it's more like Jurassic design. If we look at Monolophosaurus, they're okay, but they still look kinda off. Ouranosaurus are just a different... they're pretty aggressive. As we saw in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 3, the Ouranosaurus attacked the campers and were actually chasing them down, so we know that Ouranosaurus were actually pretty aggressive. Why herbivores aggressive? What if they changed the genetic components of Ouranosaurus and made them more aggressive? Monolophosaurus were kind of neutral most of the time, but they acted really weird, as we saw in Camp Cretaceous Season 3. We don't know anything about Therizinosaurus, so we can't know its behavior, but its look quite doesn't resemble anything that I saw in Jurassic franchise. Just a downer jaw. If you look at the downer jaw, it just doesn't quite resemble the look of any other species that I ever saw in this franchise. So, what do you think? Which of these theories is actually true? Well, that was the first ever episode of Jurassic Unsolved. If this video gets more than 1k views, I'll probably make another episode because I really enjoy making these. So yeah, subscribe and help me reach 1k subs by the end of this year, and have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next one.